Now, live from the KAKE studios, this is KAKE News on your side at 6.
Drones will take flight over Kansas as part of a federal test program.
What a Sedgwick County Commissioner said to reporters after his federal court appearance for fraud. Thanks for joining us. Commissioner Michael O'Donnell and his attorney went in front of a federal judge today.
O'Donnell is accused of taking money from his campaign funds for personal use. KAKE's Morgan Downing is live in downtown Wichita with the very latest. Morgan?
Commissioner O'Donnell walked quickly in and out of this federal courthouse this afternoon. It's been 6 days since that indictment was unsealed, and we've been trying to speak with him every day since. Today we tried again, but his attorney is keeping him quiet. Sedgwick County District 2 Commissioner Michael O'Donnell headed into the federal courthouse, and he had little to say to reporters.
Not today, guys. Sorry.
I guess not today. Thank you.
O'Donnell stepped inside and pleaded not guilty to 12 counts consisting of bank fraud, wire fraud, and money laundering. The District 2 County Commissioner is accused of taking more than $10,000 in donations from his campaign accounts and putting it into his personal account and giving it to friends. The government says O'Donnell covered it up by making false reports to the state. O'Donnell told the judge he understands the charges against him. On his way out, a smiling O'Donnell, who's usually happy to go in front of the camera, declined.
No, he'll just continue serving, and he'll be doing a good job. We'll see you guys.
Thank you, guys.
And you heard his attorney right there. This is just the beginning of this case, and his attorney says that O'Donnell will continue to serve as commissioner. He is out of jail on a $5,000 bond, and he was ordered to issue his passport. Reporting live in downtown Wichita, Morgan Downing, KAKE News.
Well, before his court appearance, O'Donnell was in the county commission chambers today for their regular meeting. Despite the charges for money laundering and fraud, the commissioner says that he'll hold on to his seat, at least for now. KAKE's Greg Miller joins us live from downtown after speaking with O'Donnell and his fellow commissioners. Greg, what they have to say?
Well, before he was here at the federal courthouse, he still had a job to do. One, his attorney says he has no intention of giving up, but he wouldn't say anything else. O'Donnell wouldn't say anything else when asked if the charges were true. Sedgwick County Commissioner Michael O'Donnell was in his seat at this morning's Board of Commissioners meeting, but he did not want to talk about the indictments against him.
Commissioner O'Donnell, can we ask you a couple questions really quick?
No, I'm not going to be answering questions at this moment.
Anything to your constituents about the $10,000 from your campaign account?
So I don't have anything to say at this moment. Thank you guys very much.
Do you know how you'll plead this afternoon?
Thank you guys.
He was equally as quiet as he was leaving the courthouse.
I think we'll know more this afternoon.
The 12 counts listed by federal investigators were never mentioned during the 2-hour session. O'Donnell simply weighed in on agenda items. He still has support. His parents came to this morning's meeting saying they can't comment on the case, but wanted to be there for their son. And until more comes out in court, he still has the support of most of his commissioners, except for one, who says the indictments cast a dark cloud.
I think by your presence here, I think you can say that it does.
And O'Donnell has said nothing about resigning from his seat as he begins his legal proceedings in court. And again, those commissioners saying at this point that their job in all of this is to make sure they continue their proceedings, their jobs as well as they can, as normally as they can, to make sure their constituents don't see any effect of what's been happening here and the result of that indictment. We're live downtown. Greg Miller, KAKE News.
Kansas is one of only a handful of states tapped by the Trump administration to explore the expanded use of drones. KAKE's Carl Mann is live to explain today's announcement and how it gives drones an added importance over our local skies. Carl?
Well, Deb, drones aren't just the future, they're the present, the now. 5 years ago, we wouldn't be using this drone to film this live news report, but hey, look at us now. And think about this, by 2020, officials believe there will be 7 million drones in the U.S. alone. No surprise, the photography world is currently the largest industry to use drones, but that is where local expansion comes in. We're talking agriculture, emergency services. Wednesday, a turning point for Kansas officials to figure out how to best use the air up there. You could feel and hear the passing of times in Benton on Wednesday, out with the old and in with the new.
So we are at a point in time in history that is monumental. and our children's children will travel in such different ways, and we just need to make sure we do it right.
The Kansas Department of Transportation selected as one of 10 participants in this federal partnership known as the UAS Integration Pilot Program. Now, the focus is on current drone expansion and aimed at shaping the future of drone use across the nation. Specifically in Kansas, officials want to develop drone use in agriculture and emergency services.
The notion of using drones for search and rescue to do things faster and in ways that humans can't do, that's going to save lives of Kansans, that's going to save lives of Americans, and that's a big, big deal for this whole effort. With drone growth in Kansas comes an open market financially for the state, but officials believe Wednesday was the first step in adding more jobs in the drone world. You might be asking, why Kansas? What made our state stand out among the rest? Well, with roughly 140,000 miles of public roads that are woven into rural areas, officials believe Kansas is just the perfect place to test drone technology like the one that we're using to film right now. Live downtown at Keeper at the Plains, I'm Carl Mann, KAKE News.
Well, a Wichita couple accused of killing a toddler has been officially charged. 22-year-old Elizabeth Woolheater and 25-year-old boyfriend Lucas Deal are both charged now with first-degree murder in the death of 2-year-old Anthony Bunn. That child was found not breathing at their house in Riverside on Friday morning. He died later at the hospital on Sunday.
Well, it's been months since the Parkland, Florida school shooting, but the debate over whether teachers should carry guns continues. Kansas lawmakers are discussing the issue, but nothing's been set in stone. In Texas, though, it's a different story. Several teachers there do allow them to carry guns in the classroom. They say it's what they have to do to keep their students safe.
Most active shooters are done within 2 to 3 minutes. So what we're trying to do is bridge that gap. We're trying to just put somebody in the way until trained law enforcement can arrive.
KAKE's Lily Wu takes us to Texas to find out how arming their teachers is working. Watch Kids in the Crossfire tonight on KAKE News at 10. Well, a lot of sunshine out there in Wichita anyway, but it sounds like there's some storms popping up out west.
Yeah, Jay Prater's been following that. He joins us now with the latest. Jay?
Yeah, most of Kansas on the edge, absolutely nothing going on, but look across the northwest. That's where we were talking about a few isolated thunderstorms popping up, and that's what's going on now. The strongest thunderstorms are now rolling out of Cheyenne County. Let me zoom in a little bit tighter here. You get south of Atwood in Rollins County, from Chardon down to Colby. Got another little strong thunderstorm Levant. Now, this is north of I-70. That's going to move towards Colby. And the indications earlier is that was moving out of Cheyenne County and northern Sherman. Maybe some hail larger than quarter size, but it looks like it's going to roll into Colby with less than quarter size hail. Not a lot here in the way of thunderstorms. You get back across the border, can rain a little shower, a thunderstorm moving there. That's going to roll towards northern parts of Wallace County. And those thunderstorms will be approaching Wichita well after midnight tonight. Just a lot of sunshine outside. We're at 88 degrees at Eisenhower. The wind's out of the east at 5 miles per hour. It will still be about 88 at 7 o'clock. By 10, notice the cloud cover will be getting thicker and will be down to 77. The storms out west will time it out for you coming up.
Just ahead, if you're already making plans to attend the Kansas State Fair, we have a warning about the tickets that you find online.
This is KAKE News at 6 with Deb Ferris, Jim Grimes, sports with Chase Shannon, and meteorologist Jay Prater with your KAKE First Alert forecast. KAKE News on your side.
If you plan on buying your state fair tickets online, make sure you're on the right website.
Yeah, several unauthorized web pages are popping up offering tickets for cheap. The Kansas State Fair is now working to have those fraudulent sites removed from Google's search engine. The only legitimate online ticket sellers are the fair's e-tickets. You can go to the Kansas State Fair's website. It's thestatefair.com for a link.
Well, dozens of students pedaled their way to school today, and it was a nice day to do that. Today is Bike to School Day. The Safe Kids Coalition has been working with students from Woodland Elementary, teaching them bike safety over the past few weeks. Volunteers provided helmets to kids and their parents to make sure they were safe.
We want to make sure that people know how to ride safely, and then we also want to make sure that they have safety equipment, that they have their helmet on and it's properly fitted, and then we want to make sure that they are using any other kind of protective gear that they should be using.
More kids ages 5 to 14 are seen in emergency rooms for injuries related to biking than any other sport. Still ahead, a shocker softball star is named Player of the Year. That's later in sports.
Now your Cake First Alert forecast with meteorologist Jay Prater.
Let's start with the edge. The vast majority of Cake land not cooking yet. Western Kansas already has these isolated thunderstorms in progress. Notice everything's moving towards the east-southeast. If one or two of these storms get strong enough for a severe thunderstorm warning, it won't be a shock, but that's going to be pretty few and far between. You know, south of Atwood, here we are. Rollins County rolling down into Thomas. It's just some heavy rain. The potential for some occasional hail is between Colby and Brewster. Going to cross I-70 there. Colby, you know, a few gusty winds, not going to do any damage. Some brief heavy rainfall. Let's slide back over to the west. And Canaredo just had that little thunderstorms right on top of you now, maybe a little tiny hail. And that's going to move across extreme southwestern parts of Sherman County and then get into Wallace. And the storms we're seeing across northwest Kansas now, Greater Wichita would be well after midnight before we have that chance here. Now let's go back to 8 o'clock in the morning. Just a lot of sunshine. As we get into the afternoon, keep your eye over the western sky. You'll see some occasional high cloud cover, and notice how it gets a little thicker, a little thicker, a little thicker as we get later into the afternoon. So we will increase the cloud cover. We're still at 90 degrees here atop the roof. The winds are at 16 miles per hour with the gusts. The clouds are thicker in Garden City. Can't rule out an isolated thunderstorm developing here. 88 degrees. Likewise in Hayes, got the cloud cover, an isolated thunderstorm possible. We'll get down to about, we're 87 now. And here we are in Goodland. That's what I showed you on the edge. That is the thunderstorm over Canaredo. This camera shoots due west, so there you are along I-70. Really nice look at the rain shaft there with the thunderstorms. And again, heavy rain, some gusty winds, not a severe thunderstorm. Renner Field, we're at 84 degrees. The winds gusting to 22. It's 91 in Medicine Lodge, 91 at Strother Field between Winfield and Arkansas City, and also 90 in Liberal. Elsewhere, you know, lower to upper 80s. And the winds away from the showers and storms are not terribly gusty. That'll change tomorrow. Here we are over the past 6 hours. Notice the cloud cover making its way eastward. It gets thicker, those little isolated thunderstorms popping up, and the wave generating these will be sweeping across Cake land overnight tonight. And then after it moves through, we'll get a break as we get into the day tomorrow. Look at the RPM model. As we go from northwest Kansas, notice how they're tracking eastward for Greater Wichita and the rest of south central Kansas after midnight tonight. Again, not everybody sees a shower thunderstorm. Most places won't, but if you do, brief heavy downpour, some wind gusts, maybe occasionally exceeding 50 miles per hour, some nickel-sized hail, not out of the question. Tomorrow morning, if there's some cloud cover or a stray shower, it will be Wichita and southeast of the Turnpike. That will give way to lots of sunshine tomorrow. And then we're going to watch tomorrow night, northwest and north central Kansas, maybe a little isolated thunderstorm popping up. I know the RPM model's throwing out one across southwest Kansas. Not buying that. Tomorrow, by lunch, upper 70s to mid 80s, and we're going to see mostly 90s across southwest Kansas, but for south central Kansas, not quite as warm to hot as it is today. So Wichita and south central Kansas tonight, after midnight, a few storms are possible. We'll get down to about 64. Any remaining storm or cloud cover quickly leaves, becoming mostly sunny, and we'll get up to about 87. Don't think we're going to hit 90 tomorrow. Comes back on Friday. Windy tomorrow afternoon, windy again on Friday. Saturday late, a small chance of a storm. For south central Kansas, late Sunday into Monday, pretty good shot of, you know, numerous. We're talking scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms. Really decent rain chance coming up here. North central Kansas tonight. Few storms possible. What you see out west, 58 Hayes, 62 Salina. That clears out by daybreak. And tomorrow, sunny, warm, breezy, highs mid to upper 80s. And then tomorrow night, I told you about that little isolated storm chance near the Nebraska line. And then Friday night, I think a little better chance in the Nebraska line and north of I-70. And then late Saturday, a 20% chance of storms for all of north central Kansas. But it's that late Sunday into Monday, the best chance for scattered to widespread showers and thunderstorms. And for western Kansas, you already got the storms ongoing across northwest Kansas. Southwest Kansas, you'll get into the party a little bit later on overnight tonight. And then tomorrow, all the storms going to be off to the east. Sunshine, warm, upper 80s to 90, lower 90s to mid 90s across the southwest. Southwest Kansas, more sun, more heat on Friday. Small chance of a storm Saturday, again on Sunday. Monday, I'll up it to 30% and then back down to 20 on Tuesday before it's just sunny and dry again on Wednesday. And across northwest Kansas, tomorrow sunshine. Tomorrow night, 20% chance of a thunderstorm. More sun, not as hot on Friday. Friday night, better chance of scattered storms. Again, Saturday only in the upper 60s for a high. And then Monday, I think, is the better chance for some scattered to numerous showers and storms, but only going about 30% at this point.
All right. Looks good. Coming up next in sports, back-to-back national champion Butler Grizzlies are opening up playoffs this afternoon. The highlights from El Dorado after the break.
Now with sports from all across Cakeland, here's Cake Sports anchor Chase Shannon.
The first season in the AAC, an absolute success for Wichita State softball. First, they were one win away from a regular season title. Now they have the conference's player of the year. Senior Mackenzie Wright earns the honor, becoming the first Shocker to earn POI honors since Casey Williams did it in the Valley in 2014 and 2016. She led the league in batting average and hits. Lori Derrico and Bailey Lang named first team All-AAC with Wright. Paige Llewellyn and Riley Buck earned second team, and Bailey Nickerson was named to the All-Rookie squad. They're going to take on Tulsa in the conference quarterfinals tomorrow morning at 9. Back-to-back out-of-conference games for the Shockers as they try to build on yesterday's 2-1 win over Oral Roberts. They have South Dakota State in town, and these two are just underway. Gunnar Troutwine just drove in 2 runs to put the home team on top. We'll have highlights for you tonight on Cake News at 10. Let's head out to El Dorado now. The JUCO back-to-back national champion Butler Grizzlies opening up their playoffs against Trinidad State. This is the first inning, and they're already rolling. Brianna Robinson over the wall and right, a 2-run home run, 2-0. Same inning, Alexis Reed clubs one out to right field herself. The outfielder can't gather it. She hustles to second and slides in safely. Then with a runner on third, Selina Sullivan skies one to center. Reed able to tag up and score. They win game 1 8-0 in 5 innings. They're already up big in game 2. The Royals had a first inning to remember yesterday. 4 home runs and 10 runs total scored. The game was over before Baltimore even had a shot to bat. Game 2 is just underway from Camden Yard. It's hard to match yesterday's first inning for KC. It took 9 batters for Baltimore to get their first out. Didn't take 9 batters tonight. We're early, 0-0 right now in the second inning, or first inning. The U.S. Open Cup starts tonight for FC Wichita, the longest ongoing national soccer competition in the United States. 80 teams make up the tournament fields, including clubs out of the MLS. In fact, Sporting KC won it last year. Wichita did drop out in the second round in 2017 to a tough St. Louis FC squad. This year, they're hoping to push it farther. Of course, that starts tonight against OKC Energy U23.
I'm pretty sure we're already taking care of it, which is the defensive part. Last year we did pretty well against St. Louis, but we made a couple mistakes in air balls, and I think that's not going to happen again. We are already familiar with the field, so we're ready to play here.
And from the pitch to the ice, the Thunder locked down their head man today. Malcolm Cameron signing a contract extension. The head coach led Wichita to the postseason for the first time in 5 years in their first ECHL playoffs. The next game they play will be his 700th in the league, and he's excited to do that here in the ICT.
Building block, you know, the motivation and the grind that we had to go through to get to the playoffs, plus the disappointment of knowing we could have beat them with a little bit more luck or a little bit more, you know, efforts or block shots or whatever it happened to be is motivation for next year. So I'm excited to try and hopefully take this franchise another step further next year.
So their season ended just a couple of weeks ago. He said he already has 500 names and numbers of potential players for next year.
It was
hard at work.
Yeah, it's a good run. Good run.
We'll be right back. We'll see you back here at 10.
For up-to-the-minute news and weather, stay connected to Cake News with Facebook, Twitter, and Cake.com. Cake News on your side.